NBL Legends, yesterday we went through the cheapies, the schedule. Today, to finish things off, get you guys ready for round one of the NBL Supercoach season. We're going to be going through the mid-tier options, so 140 all the way up to the import price of 277, and then we're going to go through some team building options, so the three options I think you can go for. And we've got the imports that I'll speak about, and then we've got the premium plays and the captaincies heading into round one, which is going to be lots of fun. So let's get things going. I also have my league code in description, guys. So check that one out. It's a head-to-head comp at the moment, actually, just fit for 14 people, which would be cool. So anyone who wants to play, I know there won't be too many in my community that are into the NBL, but yeah, jump in there, which is cool. All right. We're going to start with forwards. It'll be centers and it'll be guards. So when it changes to a different price again, that's when we change positions. So Jack White, 232K is pretty well a must-have at the price. He has way too much upside for that price point, ticking in there at about 19 and a half, 20 points. And we expect him to be somewhere in the mid-20s pretty comfortably and has a terrific schedule as well, the Melbourne United team. Alex Tui, 191. He's someone that I really want in my side. I really want him in there. It's just finding it difficult because he has a really, really good team. I think he's going to have a breakout year. He's pushing for the NBA draft as well, a nice high pick. Does he fit in your side? He's in a stack side himself. I think he does hit about 280K at one point, but when that is the question. Has a really nice schedule, a double in round 2, a double in round 4. So I think that he's someone that if I don't start with, I can look to get him in round 2 if things work out my way. And if he comes out and looks like he's going to get the minutes, I think he'll score really well. If he gets anywhere in the 20s in minutes, he has a big improvement. He had a cracking blitz. Dermick, 191K, 191.1 there. Really solid pick, but no double until round 3. Fairly low upside as well with the jack jumpers there. John Hunter, 256K for him. Just a really nice mid-range pick in the center position now for 2 weeks with their double in round 2, but are there other priorities that you might want to go for in other positions or at an import price, which we'll get to. Tyler Harrison at 237K, he was an absolute beast in the blitz. He got MVP of that blitz. He has no Aaron Baines next to him like he did last year. I think he's likely undervalued by sort of 50 to 70K. I think he can get close to that 300K mark, but no doubles for a long time. And is he the 1 week play that you go for? And I'll talk about him in the team build section as well, but a really, really solid pick for round 1, but doesn't have a double for a while. So you'd have to trade him out likely. Marcus Lee, 203K. A lot of people were very high on him in the preseason, but he was on the bench every single blitz game and he's not expected to start. And I don't think his minutes are going to increase as much as people thought they would with Luacinda moving on from last year. Yeah, low. 173K in this one. He's likely going to be the starter. Same team there. Probably going to split the minutes with Lee. He has 2 doubles in the first 3, which is really, really nice. And DPP. So that's the big difference between him and Lee. It's a really solid pick without the upside. But, 173K. Price, not too crazy at all. In sort of the 15 range. He's, it's a really fine pick. That's for sure. Moving to the guards, you got Chris Golding at 268K. You've got the 3 Melbourne guys here who have the great schedules. There's no real value for him, but you're paying for the doubles, round 2 and 3. Similar with Illy, I think he's a similar situation with him. Obviously, you're paying for the points at a little bit more of a reasonable price at 250. And with Delhi being another year older, Illy's in the 30s as well. But he looked really good in the blitz, scored great. And if he scores like he did in the blitz, he'll make cash and do really well at the start. And is fairly popular as well. So yeah, if you want to go with that or against that, up to you. And then Ian Clark at 234. Really another solid pick with the doubles. Minutes the worry. And he relies on the scoring, basically. So if he's not scoring, he's going to have a bit of a low game. Whereas Illy is a bit more of an assist guy and can do different things. Similar with Golding as well. Very much a scoring player, him and Clark. Alrighty, my team build options. So we haven't got into all the gun players yet, but this will give you a little bit of an insight into my thoughts and how you can roll with it. But you can build your team around Bryce Cotton, who's the most expensive player, the best captain for round 1, but he doesn't have a double in round 2. So you'd likely be selling him after round 1 to stick with the pack. But he would be your best option for round 1, given every team has just a single game. I do think it's important. I've mucked around with a few of all 3 of these builds I've mucked around with myself. And I was kind of sitting around the number 2 option regularly, which is, I'll explain in a sec, but I'm moving a little bit more towards the first option just because of how well Cotton can score. I've been looking at Cotton and I've been looking at Walton Jr. Two guys I'm potentially looking to start with one of them, obviously. With Cotton, he's the best round one captain. I think Walton Jr. is likely a top two, so 2, 3, 4 best captain for round one. There's other guys that could match him, I think, but he looked really good in the blitz as well. So with Walton, if you do start with him, he's going to be your captain in round 1 and 2, I think, unless one of these other imports really steps up and dominates. So in that case, I think he's a really good pick for that, given he's a 360k guy. Cotton's a 450k guy. And then in that scenario, you'd have one of those guys, and then 4 other players between 230 and 277. So when I say 230, it's like Jack White price. And then your bench would be 125k and below. And then if you had Walton Jr., you could potentially go for a one guy between 150 and the 200k, the lows, twoies, these types of guys. So that's one option I think that could work really well, especially for round 1. And then just be prepared to trade Cotton, and then whichever one of your cheapies doesn't go well, and you can go down with Cotton to Walton or whoever you want to go to, and then go up with that cheapie to someone you missed or whatever it is. I think that's cool. Number 2, you got no big dog option, but you're guessing which import is best for captain, right? You're picking one of your 277 guys as captain for week 1, and we'll get into a few of them, but there are some options, obviously. You're likely picking sort of 6 of these 250 to 300k guys. Might be a Shea Illy as an option at that like lower price with White, that type of guy, that are good for doubles in round 2. So you're really locking in on getting set up for round 2, and then really you're just trading for injuries and then just small upgrades or downgrades depending on what happens for in that round 1, instead of sort of 5. And then you have 4 players under that 140k mark, which is more balanced, but there's a risk of getting a lower captaincy score, which is kind of where I've pushed back into that first option personally. And then number 3 option, you got 5 guys between 230 to 270, and then sort of 2 150 to 200k guys. And you're probably, I think in this one, you're playing around with some 1 week plays potentially in like a Tyrell Harrison, who I think can score really well at center. You're picking 1 to 2 guys, as I said, as 1 week plays that might score best, but with an average draw, like a Harrison. There's a few other guys that could be, little plays like that. Will Magnay is an interesting one at 317k, who has a double in round 3, but misses round 2. So misses a double in round 2. So you're preparing to probably trade a couple of these guys after round 1, but you think they can score best in round 1 and get you a good score without having the top dogs, and you have a really well-balanced side and hopefully some good scorers in there. So that's, some interesting builds. Let me know your thoughts on that. Your imports to watch, all the 277k guys, basically. So you go guard first, center, and then forward, just in the game. Kendrick Davis, he looks to be one of the best pickups. Fills the stat sheet. Do you pick now, though, or do you pick in round 3? That's the call with him, I think. I think he's going to have a really good season. Edwards and Bradshaw from Cairns definitely have potential benefit with Armstrong out for the first couple of games, but they only looked okay, and they have no double till round 3. It's up to you. Wisecamp's an interesting one. He's been in and out of my team with a dual position guard and forward. He looks to be able to score in lots of different ways. It looks a bit different each night. So one of the games, it was a double-double, points and rebounds. One of the games, which also included 5 steals. And then he had other games where he just shot the ball really well. And then he had other games he kind of got some assists, some rebounds, a steal, a block, that kind of play there, which is good to see. But he's in a team with a starting side that's really stacked, and there's a lot of ball to go around with Walton Jr., with Hurt, who we'll speak about in a sec. You've got Sobey, all these guys that want the ball in their hands. So with Wisekamp being a really good shooter, does he have some low nights? And that could be in the first few games, which might be tough. But he looks solid in the blitz. Mooney, he looked great in the blitz, but is he like a 1 week play with New Zealand? They have a couple of buys round 3 and 4. So that's the big worry there. He could be one of the best scorers in round 1. Similar to that with Harrison. And if Parker Jackson Cartwright is out with the dislocated finger that he missed the last blitz game with, haven't heard any further news, unfortunately. But if he is out, then Mooney, I think, scores great. If he's not out, then Mooney will still be good, but kind of probably isn't worth a pick. Tanner Groves, love the look of him. He's DPP. He scored great, but he comes over with credentials of not filling the stat sheet, unfortunately. Rebounds are low for a center. So proceed with caution for him. Maybe you're just waiting until the round 3 for Tanner Groves. Matt Hurt there, you're looking at a similar guy to Wisekamp they'll play the 3 and the 4, somewhere there. And he's definitely in an easier position to fill, I think, in forward center compared to guard. That's why I was looking at Wisekamp more. But I think they should score similarly obviously in a slightly different way. Hurt does seem to fill the stat sheet as well pretty well. Cam Oliver, he looks like a beast and a very popular pick for a good reason. I think a lot of people will captain him in round 1, and what might be funny is you got your captain from the bench. Good chance he plays off the bench here, and he was the best scorer of the Blitz. So that was great. He's been here in the NBL before and he actually looks better now than when he did a couple of years ago. So very, very interesting. Montrezl Harrell, absolutely love watching in the NBA. He's coming off an ACL though. I think you watch first with their first double in round 3. Darius Days, man, he looked awesome coming over to Illawarra. Great energy and definitely a double-double threat. Brings over good stats from the G League, and he's going to play the 4 position as a start. They've got Ulbrich, they've got Froling, but I think those 3 will split the minutes of the 4 and the 5, which will be cool. All right, we've spoken a little bit about Cotton and then Walton Jr. I just have them as a couple of the best picks, I think, who have the biggest upside. That's the more reason we look at them. For Cotton, for example, he averages over 40 at home. I think he's the best captain in round 1, like I said, but he's selling in round 2 to fix up your team, most likely. And Walton Jr., I think he starts well. He had very limited minutes in the Blitz, which is, can be a worry, but he had a good PPM in that time and filled the stat sheet. Lovely assist guy, really fast across the floor, and a really solid captaincy option. We go up to Xavier Cooks there at 365. I just feel like it's a bit of a gamble with him in a stacked team, and he had low minutes in the Blitz and had a hyperextended knee one of the games there. So how's he feeling after that? Sammy Froling at 350k, really solid pick without the big upside there, and has a double in round 2. So just a really solid guy in that forward center position. You've got Keanu Pinder at 347. I think he's going to have a really improved year. We actually thought he'd go a little bit better last year, but wasn't to be. I think he'll have a better second year, but no double until round 3. Magnay, same situation, no double until round 3, but dual position and a good schedule from that round 3. Has a double in round 5 as well, I think 7. So on and off, obviously, no back-to-back doubles, but a dual position guy that is going to be really dominant in his team. But do you wait until round 3? But getting to a nicer price there. Isaac Humphries, the only sole center on this list. The other 4 are dual position. He's really solid without the huge upside. Is he the round 3 pick? To get double games in that one. Parker, Jackson Cartwright there, I think at 421. Bad draw, just scared finger. Probably just hold off for now. Jalen Adams, no blitz for him. I think you hold off with a stacked team, but it's definitely always an option. These top guys. Trey Kell, 363 is good, but has a bunch of help now, and I think others are probably a little bit better. He didn't play much in the blitz either. Walton Jr., we spoke about Sobey, who's his backcourt teammate. Really dominant player. He has Walton now, so upside's potentially lower, I think, coming over from Brisbane there. Delhi, we've got him at 312k. He's a really solid pick with the best schedule, obviously, but his upside is fairly low and is 36 years old now, so something to think about with him. And then Tyler Harvey, 282k, a really solid pick, under 300k, but do you just pick an import instead? That's the big question mark around Harvey, and isn't very important after round 2 because their Illawarra's doubles really dry up there. So that's the premium picks, the captaincies. I've got, if we're looking at captaincy options, I've got those 2 as my top, as I said. And then I do think it goes to a few other guys on the list, like Magnay. If you were to start with him, I think he's a really solid one. Do you go for Cam Oliver as a pick? Do you go for Kendrick Davis? I think it's really solid. Do you go for Darius Days as a really solid pick? If Jackson Cartwright's out, I think Mooney is a good one as well, and that's as far as it go with captaincies, I think. So there you go, guys. I think that sets you up pretty well for round 1. It is rolling lockout, as always, in round 1 for every sport that we play, but you've got to just check the team list 45 minutes out or so from each game, get on the Twitters of each team and get set up with that. But that's the NBL little preseason content. I've wrapped it all up into 2 videos for you guys. I hope that makes it nice and easy, nice and quick, and you can get a decent team on the park, and we'll see how you go. And join that league, which the league code is in the description below. See you guys.